panel back in. Everyone, please stand as the panel come in. You may be seated. Let the record reflect that the court is back in session in cause number 23CCCR 2380. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Broderick Dwayne Mathis. Let the record reflect that Mr. Mathis is present in the court with his attorney, Attorney Lindsay Scott. Let the record also reflect that the state is present with Assistant District Attorneys, Attorney Andrew Hubel and Attorney Haley Simmons. Let the record reflect that the panel is now present and seated in the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen of the panel, when your name is called, please walk to the jury box. There are some tags that's right there on the end. You'll pick up a jury tag, pin it on. Well, you have a seat and then you'll pin it on. At this time, you'll be in the hands of Ms. Glenda Segura, who is one of our court coordinators. Ms. Segura. Stephen Milam, would you please come forward? Go to the jury box.
Peter Greenwood.
Greenwood.
Crystal
Ms. Milam, you can get one of the tags.
Anna Calder. Scott Haltmeyer. Tori Newman.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I need you to raise your right hand. I must administer to you the second of the two oaths that I previously mentioned. Would you please raise your right hand? And once I've finished administering the oath, please say I do. Do each of you do solemnly swear or affirm that in the case of the state of Texas versus Broderick Dwayne Mathis, that you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God? Please say I do. Okay, you may put your hands down. Members of the jury, I will give you some instructions and a general idea of what to expect in this case. Every case is composed of facts and the law as it applies to the particular case. The facts come from the witnesses on the witness stand. The law comes from the statutes, codes, rules, and court decisions interpreting them and how they may apply to this case. You and I have equal authority in this case, but it is divided authority. You are the sole judges of the facts, and I'm the sole judge of the law. You are the sole judges of the credibility of witnesses and the weight to be given their testimony. You may believe all of what a witness says, part of what a witness says or none of what a witness says. As the trial progresses, the attorneys will probably make objections to questions asked by the other attorney of witnesses or objections to the introduction of documents or objects. This means that in the objecting attorney's opinion, there is a legal reason why the testimony or document or object should not be received by you. Sometimes I will simply sustain or overrule the objection. At other times, it may require a lengthy discussion outside of your presence. If that happens, I will either ask you to step outside for a few minutes or ask the attorneys to come up to the bench so that you can hear the discussion on the point of law. The reason for this, as I told you earlier, you are the sole judges of the facts you receive, and I'm the sole judge of the law. I can't be with you in the jury room when you deliberate the facts. Therefore, you can't be present or within hearing when I deliberate questions of the law. The reason why I will sometimes ask you to step outside is simply because it is the most efficient way to do it. Otherwise, if we were to leave the courtroom, the court reporter would have to gather all of her equipment and take it with her, and the attorneys would have to gather their files, etc. The rules I do make in your presence are not evidence, and you should disregard them. After all the evidence is in, and both the state and the defendant have rested their cases, the court will prepare and submit to you a written charge instructing you on the law in this case. We will then hear oral arguments from the attorneys. The attorneys have the right to make a summation of the evidence and make reasonable deductions from that evidence. Since the state has the burden of proof, it has the right to open and close the summation or argument. Until you retire to deliberate, do not discuss this case amongst yourselves, and under no circumstances should you permit anyone to discuss the case with you. Do not attempt to learn from any source outside of the courtroom anything about the facts of the case, nor attempt any independent investigation on your own. Don't visit the scene involved in the facts of the case. Don't read any reports in the newspapers or watch TV reports about the case. Do not make up your mind about this case until all the evidence is in and you have been instructed on the law. Do not take notes during the progress of the trial. Don't visit other courtrooms during a break if a trial or other proceedings is in progress. Now, please wear those badges with you at all times, identifying you as a juror in this case. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the panel, those of you who were not selected on this jury, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention for being here this afternoon. I know that you had a desire to sit as a juror in this case, but only 6 people can sit as a juror. And I do know that when you came here this afternoon, you looked over the door and you saw my name. You says County Court at Law Number 2, Judge Terrence L. Holmes, and you probably said, "Oh, I'm in the right place. This is Judge Holmes' court." Well, this is not Judge Holmes' court. This is your courtroom. I'm only a public servant for the citizens of Jefferson County, and this is your courtroom. And anytime you're in this area, in the area of the courthouse, please come and feel free to have a seat in the courtroom. Now, you can sit in that area where you're sitting. We call that the peanut gallery. But it doesn't mean that you can bring peanuts in here and eat, because this is not the Texas Roadhouse. However, you can come and have a seat in your courtroom and see what goes on, and I guarantee you will find it pretty interesting. Now, our bailiff have letters for you, and each person will get a letter. This will conclude your jury service, but before you go, I usually give a handshake, but we still have COVID in our community. And so I like to give everyone what I would call, or what I call, an air handshake. So each and every one of you, I'm giving each and every one of you an air handshake. Now, this case is going to start back up at 1:30 on tomorrow. Is that correct, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, okay, so we won't have any statement, any witnesses today, and so we'll start back up at 1:30 on tomorrow. Now, you can feel free to come back in and have a seat in the peanut gallery, or you can watch the case on YouTube, whatever you would like to do. So at this time, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time and attention. On behalf of the citizens of Jefferson County, and behalf of the staff here in County Court at Law, thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule. You are now excused, and every one of you have a blessed day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as I previously stated, we starting back tomorrow. Is we starting at 1:30, or did we need to start a little earlier?
Judge, I believe the defense wanted to try to start a little earlier.
You want to come back at 11?
I mean, if y'all think we'll be able to do it, I
I
don't know.
don't-
Everybody said.
Let me. I'm gonna find out from the court coordinator, see how long the our arraignment docket is tomorrow.
Just have to meet with witnesses and have them moved up in time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna make everybody come sit. If we can't start till 1:30, that's okay.
So what's your preference?
If you're agreeable to 1:30.
That's fine.
1:30? Okay, we'll start back at 1:30. All right. So ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we need everyone to be back at 1:30. Now, when you come back at 1:30, you're gonna have a seat in the hallway. And then when the bailiff is ready, she would ask you to come back in on tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, when we start back up, we will have the reading of the information. That's the charge, what the person is charged with. And in this case, it's a complaint because it's a Class C misdemeanor. And following the complaint, reading the complaint, the defendant will enter his plea after the complaint, and then we'll have opening statements. And then after the opening statements, then we will start with the testimony. So that's how it's gonna proceed on tomorrow, okay? And I think the state have a couple of witnesses. I don't know how long, you can't really tell how long witnesses are gonna take, but we're gonna start back tomorrow at 1:30, and please meet outside, and we'll see you tomorrow. Everyone, please stand as the jury exit the courtroom, and make sure that everyone is wearing your badge when you come back tomorrow.
Do we bring it home with this?
You can.
I won't be here tomorrow.
I got one pair of pants today. You
Oh.
wear them home or bring back?
Just. You can,